Original stories are the cornerstone of all animated films as they inspire cinematic innovation, offer fresh narratives, unique visual styles, and create cultural impacts that extends across generations. These types of films, in contrast to sequels or adaptations, often introduce completely original worlds, characters, and storytelling tools that challenge boundaries in both technology and creativity. Welcome to Cartoon Network. Today, we're going to look at how to and how not to sell original animated films. As they shape the future of animation as an art form and a medium for meaningful narrative, studios such as Studio Ghibli, Pixar, Laika, and now Sony Pictures Animations have shown how unique animated features can connect with audiences around the world. And who doesn't like an original story? Heck, it's what we've been begging for. So why are Sony Pictures Animations films like Kpop Demon Hunters doing better than Disney Pixar's Elio? Also, why is Pixar blaming us for Ilio's failure? Disney has come under fire for recent animated films, while Sony Pictures Animations, or SPA, has enjoyed success with films like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Hotel Transylvania series, which have been praised for their distinctive animation styles and storytelling. However, this is subjective and depends on how winning is defined. While Sony has embraced both 2D and 3D styles, Disney has moved away from the conventional 2D animation, which some fans wholeheartedly still miss. Why did a Pixar film flop this bad? Elio 2025 by Pixar was a critical and financial failure because of a number of issues, including poor timing, poor marketing, production chaos, creative errors, and a lack of harmony with the audience expectations. Where did it all go wrong? Elio started out as a daring personal tale about a timid Latino boy figuring out his roots and family while negotiating an intergalactic misunderstanding. But the film's suffering actually started before it was even released in theaters. It lost a lot of its diversity and emotional depth. According to accounts, the production was challenged by intense studio intervention, including attempts to tone down LGBT themes, and key Latinx cultural elements were eliminated throughout the reworks. Ultimately, director Adrian Molina left the film as a result of these efforts. Madeline Serafian and Domi Shi took his position. The finished result, according to critics and fans, was bland, safe, and sanitized, missing the distinctive emotional resonance for which Pixar is renowned for. Adrian Molina was supposed to direct Elio since the film involved concepts from his own upbringing on a military base, but it played like a movie that once had something to say, then lost its nerve, according to The Atlantic. It was a box office flop. With a budget of $200 million, Elio earned just $35 million globally in its opening week from June 22nd, the worst opening in Pixar history. Which begs the question, was Elio supposed to fail? I mean, what was this film even about? Elio had hardly any extensive advertising campaigns. Due to the lack of hype created by the trailers, many viewers were unaware that the film even existed. Disney chose not to advertise Elio, according to industry opinion, which means that only moviegoers actively seeking out new releases were aware of it. Marketing was vague and did not make it apparent what Elio was about. Alien kidnapping? Maturing? Was it an allegory of politics? Unless you go actually watch the movie.
I guess we'll never know.
Wouldn't be the first time Disney lacked confidence in a film, though. Remember The Strange World from 2022? Me neither. I was surprised to hear that Strange World had some pretty bad backlash over being labeled as too woke. I mean, I can definitely see how that label could easily end up being the same issue for Elio. And not to mention, Elio was competing against mostly sequels and live-action remakes, making the fight between originality and familiarity a big one. What about the art style? Is Bean Mouth really that bad? Indeed, Elio makes use of bean mouth expressions. This is a part of a broader term in which Pixar is attempting to differentiate out of a time of visually similar CGI and appeal to younger audiences by experimenting more with styled, expressive animation. Elio's tone is funny, unsteady, and emotionally expressive, as reflected in Bean Mouth. Ilio's shy, expressive behavior is also reflected in this execution, which emphasizes childish innocence, awkwardness, or overreaction. Like in Turning Red, which drew inspiration from anime and 1990s cartoons, it incorporated 2D elements into Pixar's 3D modeling. Here's where the fatigue comes in. Overuse in film and television. Bean Mouth, which was once fresh and entertaining, is now typical, particularly in Western animation. Critics claim that it's now standard practice, applied to unrelated genres and studios, making new shows and films appear virtually identical. Bean Mouth, according to some artists and viewers, is a cheap fix for emotions that abandons more complex or subtle acting. It often features simpler animation, which makes some people think it's done to cut costs or save time. Bean Mouth, according to critics, takes away from originality, particularly when new television programs or films replicate one another's visual language. And it's alienating for adults. There's a preference for more subtle facial acting. Remember when I said Pixar was blaming us for the film's failure? Well, blaming the adults isn't gonna get you very far if you're not even making a film that's for us in the first place. Is Elio as good as, say, WALL-E? Both are from Disney Pixar, both are sci-fi, character-driven, and explore themes of loneliness and connection. Yet, WALL-E is widely regarded as a masterpiece, while Ilio is generally seen as a well-intentioned but underwhelming effort. The core story definitely has heart, but compared to Pixar classics like WALL-E, the execution for Ilio was emotionally scattered. The human connection to loneliness is present, but handled lightly, and the sense of identity and belonging is underdeveloped, which WALL-E managed to achieve without even saying much. That film was 60% vibes, and its simplicity was enough for anyone to understand. Sometimes simplicity has a better way of deeply resonating with any age group. And the fundamental issues with family films that haven't done well in the 2020s is that their narratives aren't compelling enough to hold the interest of audiences of all ages and attention spans. Ilio appeals to kids and younger viewers, and it has heart, but it lacks the narrative precision, emotional depth, and relatable richness that made WALL-E a classic.
Meanwhile,
By following a completely different route than its main rivals, Sony Pictures Animations gained a solid reputation in creating creative animated films. Its latest original story, Kpop Demon Hunters, succeeded because it hit a perfect trifecta of trends, talent, and aesthetics. What was the main selling point? The idea of a K-pop female group that doubles as demon slayers is entirely original. It combines anime-style supernatural action with global pop culture, K-pop. Fans of K-pop, anime, action films, and Gen Z music were among the several fan bases that felt attraction in this amalgamation. K-pop wasn't simply well-liked by 2025. It was completely accepted all across the world. The film had credibility and authenticity because it featured real K-pop producers, idol choreography advisors, and vocalists from real idols, like Twice members. It became viral by tapping into a sizable active online base. Although the campaign's main target was teen girls, Netflix's consumer products and regional marketing teams did not do much cross-functional promotion or marketing. But what set Kpop Demon Hunters apart from Ilio was TikTok, YouTube clips, and Instagram Reels that were utilized liberally by Sony and Netflix to create dancing challenges, voice acting behind-the-scenes videos, fictional Huntrix idol teases that are portrayed to be from an actual group. They realized that they had to take the film to a place where fans spend most of their time, online, and it paid off as it went viral within the first few days. The fictional group Huntrix made $1.6 billion in revenue over the last 5 years from streaming and albums alone. Netflix and Sony figured out a way to make money from just advertising the film. That's insane. And it was a box office success. With a budget of $70 million, Kpop Demon Hunters has become the #1 most watched animated film on Netflix within the first week, from June 20th, the same week Ilio was released in theaters, by the way. Why was talent necessary? Composed and produced by elite K-pop creatives, the Kpop Demon Hunters soundtrack is a narratively focused album with 12 exceptional tracks. The distinction between fictional narratives and worldwide chart toppers grew thin as key singles like Takedown, Golden, Soda Pop, and Your Idol became viral #1 successes, with real-life producers like Teddy Park, Lindgren, Stephen Kirk, Jenna Andrews, and Ian Eisendreth working behind the scenes. The music transcends the boundaries between K-pop successes and cinematic soundtracks. The music of each group is unique. Saja Boys showcase shallow charisma, while Huntrix offers emotional depth and sincerity, representing the film's conceptual contrast between genuine connection and shallow idol obsession. Melomance and Twice's collaborative songs add validity and appeal to a wider range of fans, bringing true K-pop star power. How did Kpop Demon Hunters deliver better stylization? The animated film was created by the animation teams at Sony and Imageworks, using a hybrid 2D/3D style that was influenced by K-dramas, anime, and bright concert lighting, and of course editorial photography. With bold line work, angular expressions in animated aggro scenes, chibi-style exaggeration for comedic effect, and dramatic high glamour looks to resemble idol performances, they wanted to create a CGI version of anime. In order to create the morphologies, facial features, and styling of the characters, the creators actually took cues from well-known K-pop groups like Blackpink, ITZY, Twice, and even Jimin from BTS. This promoted visual diversity and made the 3 female leads feel unique. Rumi was designed after traditional Korean beauty standards, Mira embodied the poise and height of a fashion model, and Zoe has the heart-shaped mouth and other playful, cutesy traits. Even the Saja Boys were walking allegories for idol culture. Mystery is the mystification, Abby is sexualization, Baby is infantilization, Romance is parasocial relationships, and Jinu is idolization. Despite the fact that the characters speak English, the animators created face expressions that are unique to Korean-speaking patterns, such as mouth and eye shapes. Concept work celebrates cultural aspects in the fantasy-infused setting by showcasing current noregae, Korean hanging decorations, incorporated into character weaponry and accessories. Costume designs combine urban fantasy energy with mythology, drawing inspiration from both modern streetwear and historical Korean costumes. How does Sony approach original stories? Sony Pictures Animations continuously tries many different art styles. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse redefined animation styles by utilizing halftones, motion smears, comic book textures, and Ben-Day dots. Squiggly fur, hand-painted watercolors, KD Vision overlays, and recycled Spider-Verse technology were combined in the Michaels vs. the Machines. These visual experiments make each film stand out and give it its own unique personality. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Surf's Up, Hotel Transylvania, and Spider-Verse are just a few of the original IPs that SPA has taken early investments on. They are not dependent on licensed content or sequels. In addition to Cloudy and Hotel Transylvania, Spider-Verse won Best Animated Picture, which is impressive for a non-Disney Pixar movie. But could the true difference in outcome following the release of both Ilio and Kpop Demon Hunters lie in the fact that one was released in theaters and the other one was released on a streaming platform? If Ilio was straight away released on Disney+, would it have gotten better results? Likewise, if Kpop Demon Hunters was released in theaters first, would it have gotten worse results? Has the streaming bubble truly changed the way we see cinema? What I can say for certain is this. The #1 predictor of a good film that is destined to do well is the confidence of its makers behind the screen. And it comes in the form of a great marketing campaign. And let's be honest, only one of these films had done it properly. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't had a chance to watch these, I highly recommend you do. Your own opinions about them might surprise you. In the meantime, please like and share and hit that bell icon for notifications. Comment down below, and please subscribe. As always, good luck with the art.